Hello, everybody. I'm Megadoom. I thought I'd talk to you about Hurricane Ida tonight and what's going on down here in southeast Louisiana and south Mississippi. What I've been noticing with this storm reminds me of some other previous events, most notably Tropical Storm Cindy, which was back in 2005 and struck in, believe, June of that year. And people saw it as well as a tropical storm, winds under 75 miles an hour, uh, maybe some branches blowing down, but nobody was expecting any severe weather threat from it. I stayed at my mother-in-law's house because I was working for the city of New Orleans at the time, and we were put on standby. So nobody was expecting much. Everybody went to bed uneventfully and not worried. Woke up the next morning and pretty much there was devastation all over the place. There were trees down, um, most trees down in memorable history with storms that come through. Storms that were much more powerful than Cindy. And also there are other storms like Juan and Elena and storms that people base it off the damage that would occur off the category, which is a good reference point, and it served us well through the last 3 decades of monitoring storms. But every now and then, a storm comes through. It has its own unique character, its own unique way of doing damage, and that just kind of exceeds or even goes under what the categories say and suggest that a storm might do. I mean, I've seen some storms that were category 2 and 3, and it looked like they did tropical storm damage. It's relative to the speed that they're traveling at, interaction with other weather events that are going on, uh, where they make landfall, the speed they're going at, how much moisture they're carrying, pressures involved. So this is a complex set of variables that meteorologists and lay people and just people who don't know much about the weather have to kind of juggle in their minds to predict the future. But one thing that I found disturbing with this storm that's coming into the northern Gulf is the state of complacency by everybody. And it's kind of amazing considering that we've been through Katrina, Gustav, and Ike. It's probably related to the month of November, a very unusual occurrence that we should see a storm, certainly a Category 2 hurricane in the Gulf of Mexico in the middle of November. I can't even remember when that's been the case. But I think a lot of that, and then of course you have the hysteria we have over here over the Saints going 8-0 for the first time in the franchise history, and I think that's wonderful. But I think people are losing sight over safety and things that they should monitor, and things they should probably do as preventative measures to protect um, their residents and their families and their pets and so forth. So I'd like to talk to you about that. What I'm seeing down here, um, pretty much, I just watched channels 4, channel 6, channel 8, and they're all pretty much downplaying this as being an eastern storm event going into Florida, and it may very well do that. I don't want to sound like an alarmist. I also don't. I'm just trying to get people to realize that we can't predict these storms. This is Mother Nature at its best. And we can't assume that Hurricane Ida is going to weaken down to a tropical storm, come on in and just knock down a few branches somewhere, and then the next day everything business as usual. Bob Breck came on tonight, and to me it came over as that's exactly what the case would be. Whether it went in Pascagoula or over in Pensacola, it might cause a little upset that might last a day, and I find that incredulous based off previous storms. Hopefully that's all it does. But I got off work at 6 p.m. this evening after watching all of that, and half people aren't even aware that there is a storm out there. They act surprised when you bring it up. But when I was pumping gas to go home this evening into my truck, of course you had the little TV monitors above the gas pump, and the news was coming on it, and the way they delivered this meteorological event, it sounded like an afternoon thunderstorm was rolling in. I was like, good God, people, we're 2 days from landfall. Well, now we're about 24 hours away. And they're assuming they know exactly what the storm is going to do, where it's going to go, and what intensity it's going to be. History has shown that the National Hurricane Center and meteorologists cannot do intensity models. Their intensity models are terrible. Sometimes storms are way more powerful than they expected. Sometimes storms are weaker than they expected. They can't do intensity. They've gotten a lot better at where these storms are going in a 2 to 3 day window. And I think they're pretty accurate about where this storm is going to go. It's going to come up and it's going to go just east of the Southwest Pass, maybe about 60 to 160 miles off the tip there of Venice, and it's going to steer off to the northeast and get captured into the low cold front that's coming in from the west, and it's going to go towards Pensacola or even further east than that. I don't think it's going to corkscrew around and go out into the Gulf of Mexico. I do think it's going to become extratropical, but I also think there's going to be trees down, power outages, some areas that will get flooded. I'm concerned for my area because anytime you get that east or southeast wind direction blowing into the area, water gets piled up into Lake Bourne, the Pearl River basins. Waters come up into here, into Pearlington. Now this is ever since Katrina, because Katrina just did so much erosion and changes in the swampland topography south of Pearlington that it doesn't take much at all for water to come pouring up in here. Both Gustav and Ike flooded this old house here, and this house had stood 50 years before Hurricane Katrina without ever seeing water down on the road near the house. And that was for major flood events when the Pearl River would top its banks. So things have certainly changed in a couple lifetimes. So I just wanted to let you know that people here are not taking this seriously. I hope they're right. I hope this storm is nothing, blows right through and does very little damage. But if it does, I'll be posting video and pictures of any damage I see. I might be going over to Pensacola tomorrow or the next day to help my friend out that lives over there. Fortunately, lives in a trailer park, and he'll probably go over to his sister's house, and she's got a house like this, a cinder blocked house. So they should do all right. They did all right in Hurricane Ivan, even though it totally devastated the city. But I'll keep you updated. Tell me what you think about how people are viewing things along the Gulf Coast if you live in this region. Thank you.